Hi, it's Matt here, co-founder of Ultimate Growth Academy. Now, what I want to do in just a moment is let you watch a very powerful conversation between my wife, Coruscant, and a very good friend of mine, Leo. Now, Leo is a 52-year-old who was a former technophobe. He'd worked 30 years in the corporate world, trading all his time for money, and stepped into the online space in the summer of 2020. Now, what's amazing about Leo is he's not only now a successful affiliate marketer, he's also a coach for my academy, Ultimate Growth Academy, as well. And the reason I want to share this with you is just so you can see Leo's journey and how he realized back in 2020, just after the pandemic struck the world, that he needed to overcome his biggest fear, the fear of change and doing something different. Now, he did that. He steps into the online space for the first time. At the age of 52, he was worried that his age would hold him back. And he's been able to prove not only to himself, but to other people how age is just a number, and how he's been able to completely change his life, and how he now earns an income on the internet derived via affiliate marketing commission. So a really inspiring guy, and I can't wait for you to listen to this sort of interview. It's about 30 minutes long, so I do hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, always make sure you email us. And with that said, enjoy the video.
Okay, hi everyone. Now I have a really special guest today, and I want to introduce you to someone who is a coach within the UGA community. He's not only a friend of mine and my husband Matt, but he is also somebody I personally look up to. Has an unbelievable mindset, amazing positive attitude, which I wish I had all the time, and an ability to set goals and inspire so many other people around him, and so with further ado, I introduce lovely Leo. So thank you so much for joining me today, Leo.
Was that somebody else you were introduced? I'm like, oh, okay, it's me. Hey, Coruscant. Hey, everybody. Lovely to be here. Grateful to be here. It's we're gonna have a great time just chatting over this amazing space, and I'm thrilled to have this opportunity. So welcome everybody. Really happy to be here.
Pleasure is all mine, Leo. Now, for anybody that maybe is getting started for the first time or thinking about joining, I just want to start by something that's really important, and that is your day. So can you walk me through your day? What does it involve? What does it include? Talk me through that process.
I'd love to. Myself and Coruscant have this expression that, you know, when you come into this space and you really start to build your online business, there is an element of every day feeling like a Friday. It's something actually Coruscant mentioned to me a couple of months ago in another conversation, and I've kept it with me because it is. One day kind of blends into another. I used to dread Mondays, like seriously dread Mondays. Yeah. I'd wake up anxious. I had to be stuck in the commute. I was going to a job that I really didn't enjoy. And I was literally counting the days until it was Friday afternoon again. That was what I previously did. My days now are so much different. I've been in this space for about 1.5 years, I think 18 months now. And I built up my online business to a point where this is what I do full time. And it's given me the time freedom to do the things that basically I love to do every day. One thing that I love to do probably most over anything is to walk on the beach. It's just my happy place. And snorkel if I have time. And I used to get to do that 1 day a week on a Sunday. And that was it. The rest of the time, sometimes I had to work Saturdays as well. So I was working 6 days a week. My days now, I literally get to do that every day. I have set up my online business that 80% of it runs on automated systems, and the other 20%, I actually work 3 days a week on my business. And that's what has given me the time freedom. And today was even more exceptional. I shared with Coruscant, we have friends visiting us right now from overseas, staying with us. And that's the first time we've had friends here since COVID. And during COVID was when I set up my online business. And just have gotten to experience the freedom of being able to spend so much time with friends and not trying to juggle work and all these other things. I did a little bit of extra work before they arrived so that my systems would run throughout the week. And literally an hour before this call, we were jumping around the swimming pool and just, you know, doing stuff that we love to do on a Thursday morning. You know, I have what I call an average perfect day. And it's really visualizing what your perfect day is going to look like, and that can then become your average day, your normal day. And that's the reality of what this space can do for you. It's quite amazing. So when I look back to 19 months ago to today, my days are very, very different. Very, very different. So hope that gives a little bit of context.
Amazing. No, that sounds amazing. And something that you know, repeatedly said there, which is something that we need to hold on to here, is time freedom. Above everything else, this gives you time freedom, something that you completely are deprived of when you're, you know, working in a corporate job. It's very structured. You know what hours you've got to be there. So you have a limited amount of time, and that limited amount of time, sadly, is very often spent with you knowing and having that dreaded feeling of realizing you've got to go back to that hamster wheel all over again. So a lot of people don't end up enjoying the time that they do have because of knowing that they have to repeat it all over again. So it's a rinse and repeat process, unfortunately, that a lot of people find themselves in. And time freedom is something that I really want to highlight throughout this conversation and throughout this chat, because it is so important. We only have a limited amount of time here on this earth, and it is important to spend it doing the things that you love with the people you love. And you know, the online space is amazing, but it is filled for a lot of people with some confusion. They don't know who to trust, and you know, a lot of people starting out for the first time, I know it was an issue for me, was trust. Actually finding that space that I was comfortable with, and I could really throw myself into that space. So for you, how did you get started, and kind of what was that kind of crucial point for you, do you think, Leo?
Oh, wow. Love that. You know, I love that you said those two magical words, time freedom, because that has been, that was, if I was to pick one primary reason why I got into this online space, it was time freedom. I was in the hamster wheel that you talk about. I had built up a very nice career in corporate over 30 years in hospitality. I worked on cruise ships for 20 years. Worked at Ritz-Carlton here in Grand Cayman in management. I was comfortably earning a six-figure salary. I was looking for the last 5 years for a way to continue the lifestyle that I've worked really hard to have, but to just do it in a way that I didn't have to work as hard as I was working. You know, I was that person that every step I moved through my career, it was giving me more things and the lifestyle, but it was taking my time away. Literally, I was trading my time for money. And I decided 2 years ago at age 52 that it was never going to change unless I did something about it. Simple as that. I didn't like what I was seeing. I was a semi-workaholic, and not through choice, through the demands of the job. And I just got to a point where I said, I'm 52 and, you know, I'm going to be 60 before I know it. I want to have more time freedom. I deserve to have more time freedom. And I want to do it in a way that I'm just going to be a way happier version of myself. And that's when I started researching. I was just determined. I said, this is the norm now. It's not going to change. You know, because I was in the corporate side of things, even when I come home at night or even on my supposed weekends, the phones were still ringing. I was still having to answer emails. So as you say earlier, you know, at some point, the technology, it became okay to start working from home in a corporate job. And who decided that? It's not okay. You know, in a traditional corporate world, you get paid X amount based on the number of hours you work a day, a week, a month, a year. And that's it. So you're literally trading time for money. So I was determined to find a way to do things differently. So I started researching, came in with a lot of skepticism, but I knew it was worth spending time looking into it. And when I did, I came across the Ultimate Growth Academy. I had so many reasons not to do it. I was 52. I didn't have any background whatsoever in online marketing. I thought I was going to have to invest thousands in physically buying products to sell online. Completely wrong. Not the best on the tech stuff. That scared me a lot, to be quite honest with it. And I guess lastly, because of the corporate job that I was working in, the demands of that, I felt I don't have time. Where am I going to find the time to learn what I need to learn? But I said, you know what, just something in me said, okay, you can come up with all these reasons not to do it. However, find out for yourself. And, you know, the way that it was set up, it was kind of a no-brainer because, you know, you set up your membership, you've access to this incredible training program, and you've got your 30 days in your first month that if it's just not for you, you cancel, you get a complete refund. So there was literally no cost in doing it. I'm like, I can't pass this up. And that was it for me. So I got started, and literally, I think it was on my third day, there's an amazing community, which, you know, when you become a member, you have access to. And I remember putting a post in the community, I think it was my third day, and introduced myself. And I said, I found my new home. I knew within 3 days that this was my future going forward. Now, it wasn't a case of watching a few videos and there you go, go out and start marketing online. There is work involved. You do need to commit to the work. But what I learned was that, you know, commit to finding 1 hour a day, 1 to 2 hours a day, 4 or 5 times a week. That is as much time as you need. So I just readjusted. I cut out my Netflix. I cut out my scrolling on Facebook. I made the time. I got up an hour earlier every morning. And that ended up being the best hour of my day because I was building this opportunity to make a ridiculous amount of change in my life. I realized very early on that the opportunity was there to get some additional help with one-to-one coaching. I wanted shortcuts. I basically wanted to replace my revenue in my first year. And I had a specific target in mind for that. And in my first 6 months, I was already at a point where I said, this is going to replace my previous income. And then it was a case of me firing my bosses and committing full time to this, and just you know, continuing to build it with each week and with each month that comes. So it's been a journey. It's taken work to do it, but everything that I'd hoped to have in this space, it's come through. It's really come through. So has it been worth it? Absolutely, it's been worth it. Absolutely.
Oh wow. That's amazing. And I think, as I said at the beginning, for anybody that, you know, obviously meeting Leo for the first time now and hearing him on this call, you know, I can say from personal experience, Leo has a fantastic mindset, amazing mindset. And he is incredibly good at not only helping other people and bringing other people and their energy up, but also just being able to help people look at something from a different perspective. And 2 things that I want to take from something you just said there is change and consistency. So 2 really, really, really important words. Consistency is probably the most important thing on this journey, I would say. Would you agree, Leo, with consistency being
Totally.
Yeah, and just small steps, regardless of what it is. It's very, very easy to put these roadblocks in place. Actually, something that I've talked about recently with current members is just about these roadblocks, and you actually find you're bringing these roadblocks in front of yourself. Yeah. And so it's all about just moving them out the way and just taking small, consistent actions each day. And you feel like when you're taking those actions, you feel like you're getting closer to your end goal, whether that's replacing your salary, quitting your job, whatever that might be. You have to find that end goal and then take small steps each day to get towards it. It's not about, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's not about changing everything in a week or a month or 6 months. It's about just taking consistent steps. And change is so important because for a lot of people, they get stuck in a rut. Whether that's 9 to 5 or just you know, that kind of hamster wheel, and the thought of change is frightening. It's scary. If all you've ever known is a 9 to 5 job and someone is now presenting an opportunity in front of you that means you know, self-employment, it means starting a business, for a lot of people it's scary. It's change. It's something that's not always in our DNA, but change is is the best thing that could ever come your way, because without change we can't flourish as people. You know, it's you know, we end up feeling sort of like we're caged, so we need that change in our life in order to, you know, take steps forward, and it's important.
I look back at, you know, I've a few years under my belt at this point, and I look back at some of the best times of my life, and they all came because of change. And in every single occasion, there was a degree of fear to making that change. And I think of one in particular. I was in my coming up to my mid-20s, living back in Ireland where I was born and raised. I knew I wanted to travel. I was in a comfortable lifestyle, building up a career, but there was something niggling away at me to travel. And I said, okay, do something about it. So I started my interview to work on cruise ships. Had no clue what I was getting into. And I actually kept my job open in Ireland. I got a year's leave of absence because I figured I'll just get this out of my system and come back and, you know, get back to my normal life. It was absolutely terrifying. I flew to America, first time ever, joined a cruise ship, knew within a week that I was going to be doing this for a lot longer than a year. And that ended up being a 20-year career that got me to travel the world and have just incredible experiences, have friends from all over the world. That one change brought ridiculous amount of joy into my life, but that fear could have held me back. And change it's a huge part of this. I can tell you, as we get older, change becomes even harder. You know, I find change harder at 52 when I started than I did in my 20s or 30s, because I think as you get older, it becomes more frightening to make that change. Sometimes it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't know, even if you're not happy in that space. And so I understand that as we get older, the status quo can look safer, but my gosh, if you're not happy with where your life is right now, you owe it to yourself to make that change, to be the happiest version of yourself. Because I knew a lot of what has driven me in my lifetime, I never wanted to get to a point in my life where I look back and regretted not doing something. And that's been a driving force for me. Suffice to say, the space that you have an opportunity to step into, the Ultimate Growth Academy space, it is incredibly supportive. You're just going to have so much help at hand that, yes, you're turning on your laptop and learning, but I cannot express the power of the community that you're going to have at hand. Weekly webinars, you know, access to your own coach to get those shortcuts and speed that up, a step-by-step training program. And the tech stuff, it's actually not that bad at all. I was like, okay, that was it. It was okay. So,
me too.
You know, change. And yeah, it does. You know, one thing I loved about it when you talk about commitment course, and what actually attracted me to this as well was the fact that it wasn't pretending to be a get rich quick scheme. And let's be honest, there's a lot of that online. It never promised me results. It said, this is a program that will provide me with a solution to change my life. But it never made these silly promises to watch a few videos and make a fortune. And that actually attracted me to it. I committed. I saw very quickly that, yes, this is going to take time. It's going to take work. But assuming you're willing to put in the work, anything is possible for any age. You know, there's members in here from the 20s through to the 60s and even beyond. So don't put those mental blocks of why you cannot do it. Just trust in the process, trust in the program, trust in the community. And there's absolutely no reason why success will be inevitable, because you're going to have everything you need. So, I'm passionate about it, sure.
Yeah, how powerful. And something, can we just say as well, I would say you look more 25 than 52, Leo. So, you know.
Appreciate it. There's hope for me. I saw a picture of George Clooney. I think he just turned 62. And I'm like, well, if he can do it, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, if George can do it, anybody can do it. But you know, it's something that's so important, is that a community and being part of a community is what gets you through. Because for anyone that's starting out right now, being surrounded with like-minded people. It's something that I talk about on a permanent basis. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people, people that are doing a similar thing to you, is what gets you through. And actually, you hit the nail on the head there, Leo, when you said it's not about promising results. It's not about saying we can get you here in X amount of time. It's actually about saying, here are the tools, here are the resources, this is what you've got to do with it. And it's down to you as an individual to take those steps. But I actually found, I don't know about you, by the end of everything that you go through, you actually realize you're a different person than from when you first started. And yeah. And, for you, did you have any fears or anything that you were skeptical about? Because I know for a lot of people, I get a lot of questions about people being, like we talked about, those fears and those kind of those natural worries. How did you overcome that? Were there any techniques that you used or anything that you kind of, maybe something that you did that helped you through that time, if that was something you went through at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if I think back to that moment when I committed to it, I think the biggest fear, I mean, I did feel that I was too old for change, to be quite honest. I felt that this was more for the younger generation. So I definitely doubted myself. I definitely doubted myself. But again, just having that open mind, my desire for change was bigger than any of my fears. Simple as that. And that's what pushed me through to have an open mind. And that one thing has changed everything, because I could have taken a pass on it. I'm pretty sure I'd still be that person I was 2 years ago that just wasn't happy, if I'm being honest, and not seeing a way out of it. It's really interesting, Corsan, because I started noticing a big change in me very quickly. And this was in the early stages, because within a very short space of time, I was waking up a different person, because this was giving me hope. I could see the path forward. And I really started noticing how I was feeling in general. Instead of waking up feeling anxious or feeling a sense of dread. Yeah, I was still having to go into my job, but I was different because I now knew the path forward. And as I say, this 1 to 2 hours I was spending, this turned into the highlight of my day. And I started really embracing what goes on up here more than ever before, because I listened, I committed to attending some of the mindset webinars and different things, because it's so important. And that's when I really started I shifted from just binge watching stuff for, of course, Spotify music, but I started listening to motivational podcasts on Spotify. When I was in the car, still in traffic, I'm like, no, I want to surround myself with positivity. So even beyond that 1 to 2 hours I was spending, I started looking for ways to keep that positive mindset. And to me, that was instrumental, because it is a journey and it is commitment to learn everything. But that just changed the narrative for me into doubting that I could do it, to saying, you know what, if that person did it, if this person does it. I have this analogy now that, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they have the same 24 hours in the day as you and I have, the exact same.
Yeah.
They somehow manage the time to build up these massive successful businesses. So if it's important enough, we will find the time. There's no doubt about it. And, I'm here to just put it all out there. If this wasn't possible, I would not still be here 18 months later. Simple as that. So, I look back, I'm very fortunate. I'm very grateful, but I also know that I put in the work to now get to live this lifestyle that I'll never go back to the regular corporate stuff again. This is the way forward for me. Simple as that.
Yeah, and you almost feel like, for anyone maybe that is doing this alongside a job or, still working, whatever it might be, you almost feel like you've got a spring in your step, because you realize there's hope. You're doing something about it. You've taken that action. You've reassessed your life. You've looked at what it is that you want to change. You've made that change, and even just making that small change is enough to just give you that lift that you need. And it almost gives you a new lease of life. You think, right, I've got this. I can do this. And I think, something that, somebody taught me at the very early stages was about listening to as many podcasts as I could, interviews with entrepreneurs, people that were setting up their own business, because it made me realize that they were all human. We all shared the same hours in the day. We all share the same kind of makeup. It is just about how they choose to spend their time.
Yeah.
And what a lot of these people actually talk about is they normalize the fear of change. They normalize the amount of kind of their journey and how long it took them to achieve their end goal. And that's really important, because you soon realize that those people they're just like you and I, and it makes the whole process completely normal. Rather than it being this subject where we only see people that are successful and their end results, which social media and places like Instagram unfortunately only show you the end results of people's lives, the good parts.
Sure.
But in these podcasts and interviews, people get down to the really kind of the nitty gritty and the tough times and the struggles, and that's what you want to hear
about the tough times. They talk about those struggles. Absolutely.
They do, and those are the people you want to listen to. And just before we wrap up, Leo, for anyone else that's still not sure about joining the academy and kind of maybe just slightly nervous or skeptical about starting a business online, what would you say to them?
Just don't have regrets. It just see for yourself. Sometimes it is a case of standing back, getting out of our own way. Sometimes that's all it takes. This of course there's fear with this because it's something new. I was definitely afraid of failing. I didn't share it with very many people right at the beginning because I was afraid of being judged. And I mean, society is so quick to judge people, say, nah, it's not this, it's that, don't do it, it's this and that. No, I'm grown up, mature enough that I wanted to see for myself. So I came in with as much skepticism as anybody else out there, as much fear as anybody else out there, but I trusted in the program and I got to work and consistently, which we talked about, put in put in the effort, put in the work. And it's amazing, in the space of a few weeks, you kind of look back and say, oh my gosh, the growth is absolutely extraordinary. And again, it was this, not just growing this building online business, it was how much I've grown as a person and much more positive person. And, love to be in this space now to help the newer members coming in and give back and help them grow as well. So I think just rather than finding reasons not to do this, just give yourself a little bit of a break here and just trust in what's available to you, Coruscant and the Ultimate Growth Academy, and I'm going to be there, and so many other people. We're there waiting, and we're going to continue to grow, but we would love you to be a part of this journey because this is the answer. This can absolutely change your life in ways you can only imagine. So come join us. You're going to love it.
Yeah, definitely. Come along and join the ride. And thank you so much, Leo. And what I just want to finish up by saying is that the journey and the decisions that hold, the kind of the biggest fear and that element of kind of uncertainty, they hold the greatest reward at the end. So, nothing ever comes easy, but those small steps that you take in life and those small changes that you make towards your end goal are worth it, because ultimately they hold, like I say, the biggest reward. And we're both living proof of that. So join us and enjoy the process. Just realize that even just, making that purchase, watching your first video, you're on your way to your kind of your dream day, your end goal. And and have fun with it. Just enjoy it, because it is the best feeling in the world. So thank you very much, Leo.
Listen, I've so enjoyed this because it takes me back down memory lane. It takes me back to before I started and the things that were holding me back. And I again, waking up feeling different, getting this fire in the belly. I had not experienced that for quite a few years because I accepted mediocre, to be quite honest. And I'm just so proud of myself and so grateful that I said, you know what, that's not the best version of you. And, you know, you deserve, everybody deserves to be the happiest they can be,
yes,
and to be the best version of themselves for themselves and for their loved ones. And this is the way to do that. You know, it just is. It just is. So, you know, this came into your life right now for a reason. It's not just coincidence that this happened. So just trust in yourself, trust in what this can do for you, and come hang out with us. Come take, you know, just push through whatever fear that might be there, and know that we're totally on the other side waiting for you, and that we're gonna be there to help you so much. So yeah, come join us.
Definitely. Couldn't agree more, Leo. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy, guys.
So welcome.
And I'll see you soon. Take care.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Corazon. Take care.